the co-main event will be yet another title fight with the return of featherweight king Jose Aldo. While the squeaky wheel tends to get the grease in the UFC, Aldo's challenger has shown that actions can speak louder than words.
Ricardo Lamas has been kind of like the Where's Waldo of the UFC. There's a guy that's one of the toughest guys in the division, but the average fan hasn't really seen him.
Ricardo Lamas is a guy who has had some of his best work done kind of in secret.
He's not a guy that draws headlines. He's not in the media. He's just the unassuming guy who happens to be one of the toughest 145-pound fighters in the world.
Ricardo Lamas is a guy who's somewhat flown under the radar, but he's been flying under that radar while winning fights in pretty impressive fashion.
You know, I think one of the reasons a lot of people don't know my name is because I'm not one of these loudmouth fighters that, you know, talks a lot outside the ring. You could be a big mouth guy and shoot off at the mouth, but if you get in that octagon and lose, then, you know, it's all for nothing. So I like to talk on fight night.
Here we go. Featherweight battle between Bryce and Lamas. You got rocked.
When he is in a position to deliver offense of the kind he prefers, it's devastating.
Trying to finish. That's it. Ricardo Lamas trying to finish this fight. Bryce trying to survive. It is all over.
When he fought Cub Swanson, I believe he was losing that fight on the scorecards. He came out in that second round, and he dominated the fight from that point on.
And he's going for an arm triangle. Lamas going for an arm triangle. It's very tight. Very tight.
That in. It is all over.
That's something that's rare in the fight game. Is as a fight is going, a guy picks up something more. He just has that extra gear, and he also has a lot of heart.
Ricardo Lamas' last fight was against Eric Koch.
Everybody was thinking within the next little bit of time we might see Eric Koch in a title fight. Eric Koch was even linked into a title fight there for a while with Jose Aldo.
Okay, you got by Cub Swanson, good on you, but you're not going to get by Eric Koch. I think there was a lot of folks who felt that way.
I think Koch was a guy who everybody thought as one of the next big things.
These two men want to make a huge statement to the UFC brass that they should be next.
Well, Lamas took him down, took him out.
Oh, big right hand!
He delivered, finishing him decisively.
Finish the fight. Lamas has got him hurt. Big elbow by Lamas. Wow. Ricardo Lamas.
It looked like he had rearranged, and I mean this literally, Eric Koch's face.
What a victory for Ricardo Lamas.
Ricardo Lamas is a destroyer, and I don't think folks truly understood that.
In my mind, after the Eric Koch fight, there was no doubt in my mind that I was going to get the next shot at Jose Aldo.
Today's UFC, it isn't a great idea to not be all over Twitter. It isn't a great idea to not be, you know, a shameless self-promoter.
Where are you at, George?
Jose Aldo, we got some unfinished business. My belt or your belt?
I'll fly to your house, I'll hire a ref, and we'll do something about it.
I'm ready. Whenever you are, sweetheart.
60 G's, baby!
I like the approach that Ricardo Lamas took. I'm not a big guy about squawking and going out there on Twitter trying to, like, sell yourself. You know, being a professional athlete means something. And a guy who goes out there and performs fight after fight after fight, that's the way a guy should win himself a chance at the championship. And that's what Ricardo Lamas has done.
I've just kind of stayed true to myself. Success is the thing that's going to make everybody know who I am, not my mouth.
He wants to get to the top strictly on the back of his resume. And you can say he's finally done it.
In most of my fights in the UFC and in the WEC, I've come in as the underdog, and I've walked out as the winner. I know that everybody's going to be rooting against me. I know that people are going to be looking past me. I just hope that he's not looking past me, because that's the worst thing he can do.
Jose Aldo is one of those fighters that just has a mean streak. It comes out of kind of nowhere.
We've seen him beat the best of the best at 145 pounds.
Jose Aldo! It's one of his weapons, the pace that he sets, and with that leg kick. His kicks are vicious, and they are quick. There's the power of Jose Aldo! most dominant champions ever.
You can't go to a bar and have an argument, hey, who's the best featherweight ever? There's one answer to this question. It's not up for debate.
He has 13 straight wins in the WEC and UFC. He has 7 title defenses in WEC and UFC. You can definitely compare Jose Aldo's streak to Anderson Silva's streak before he lost. You can compare Jose Aldo's streak to George St. Pierre's streak.
All of his fights in the UFC, all of them, have been title defenses. That's kind of crazy.
Has not lost since 2005, and he's been unstoppable in the octagon.
Eu acho que eu estou muito satisfeito com tudo que eu venho construindo ao longo da minha carreira, então é uma satisfação grande, mas eu acho que eu nunca devo me botar numa zona confortável. Eu sempre tenho que estar querendo sempre algo a mais, que isso vai me motivar a cada dia.
I remember WEC 34 when he debuted. We didn't know much about him. And the fight, he was already doing these whipping leg kicks. He was showing his range. He was hard to take down. But when he was able to finally get the victory, I remember him jumping up on the cage and he did a backflip off the 6-foot railing and just landed. And I remember that being an explosive moment where you're like, this guy is extremely athletic.
Oh, look at that knee from Aldo. This is the opening he was looking for, and that is it. Jose Aldo's left the building. Jose Aldo has run completely out of the cage.
Jose Aldo is one of those guys who brings almost a sublime sort of presence into that octagon.
Jose Aldo was going to make a dash for the fans, and he decided to stay in the cage.
You know he wants to get up there and mix it up with everybody.
He has this ability to be explosive, just kind of out of nowhere, and finish a fight.
One of these men will probably get a shot at the champ, and right off the bat, it is over. It is absolutely over.
Mike Brown in the WEC was just clubbing people. A bruiser, could go in there and control guys, and ridiculous punching power for that division, and Jose Aldo just toyed with him.
Jose Aldo now is just teed off on Mike Brown. And that's it. Steve Mazzagatti ends it.
When he finished Chad Mendes in Brazil.
Oh! That's it. Trying to finish it. And it is all over.
Catching him with the knee right before the round ending and running out of the cage before anyone could, inspectors or anyone could stop him.
Jose Aldo knocks out Chad Mendes and remains
He
the
just
UFC
ran out of the
featherweight
octagon
champion.
and ran right into the crowd.
That was one of the most craziest moments that the sport's ever seen.
Beating Frankie Edgar, who was a former lightweight champion. I mean, his resume is filled with the who's who, the killers.
Eu sempre, quando coloco a cabeça no travesseiro, vejo que eu tenho muita coisa ainda para conquistar. Sou novo, mas eu acho que o caminho ainda tem muito longo a percorrer.
So one of the interesting things about this fight night is that Jose Aldo and Renan Barão both train together.
They're two champions. It doesn't happen often.
These guys go against each other in training camp all the time.
Well, I think when you look at two guys like that, on the high level that train together, it falls under the old adage, iron sharpens iron.
Acho que tanto eu quanto o Renan, a gente tem esse poder, né, de um puxar o outro, de falar uma palavra a mais, pelo fato de tanto eu quanto ele ser campeões.
Think about Cain Velasquez training with Daniel Cormier. Cormier goes out to fight somebody, and he's thinking to himself, I fought a tougher guy in my gym. I'm fighting Cain Velasquez every week. I think that both Barão and Aldo can say the same thing.
Sempre tá incentivando, dizendo, vamos lá, campeão, consegue, vamos lá, movimentar, vamos mexer a cabeça, trabalhar mais, e isso aí vai motivando com certeza, né? Vai dando um estímulo maior ali na cabeça e botar para movimentar mesmo e treinar bastante.
You go against guys that will make you better, or guys that are better than you will become better.
Jose Aldo and Renan Barão, they are very similar. The way they both fight and the way they go about using their leg kicks, their jabs, they start with those things and take you out of your game and slowly turn it into their fight.
Anytime you spend day after day in training with a guy like Jose Aldo, you can't help but to get better. The man is a beast.
And Barão, of course, looks at Aldo as like sort of a mentor.
Pô, considero como um irmãozão, com certeza, sem dúvida nenhuma.
Aí, mais tarde que quiser lá na feija, vamos já conversar antes.
É hoje o aniversário dele? É mesmo? Maneiro, bro.
It's great for them. They have a family atmosphere. They get a share in this pressure too.
É um momento marcante, é uma disputa de cinturão entre dois nossos, né, principalmente da Nova União, mas esse momento vai ser especial, é um momento marcante, onde que, se Deus quiser, tanto eu quanto ele, a gente vai continuar sendo campeões.
It's a great situation for them to be in, and honestly, if they're able to both leave with the gold, I would think you'd have to look at Nova União as the best gym going at this point.